Welcome everyone to the Tuesday Rant Stack, February 7th, 2023. And welcome. Figured I would try out something new where I will take a couple of topics and fuss about them. Feel free to send me topic suggestions either in the comments or on the email, which I will also put in the show notes. So, what's first on my list? Well, let's talk Orlovesky. Poor ESPN talking heads got to figure out something. But yeah, this is, oh my gosh. Let me go ahead and show you. Well, I've got the link down in the description as far as what happened, and Keyshawn rightly calls him out. Me and Keyshawn don't always agree, but I'm so glad he took him to task for it. And Orlovesky doubles down. Okay, he has two rationales for him. All right, so rationale number one. I was 7 when he retired. Okay. Montana retired in 94. Eller retired in 98. Marino retired in 2000, by the way. So let's just get that out of the way. And who knows when Mahomes is going to retire. But it's not like one of them retired in 1967. Not to mention the fact, Orlovesky, you work for ESPN. Your job is to talk about football. It seems to me you could find a tape. Here's my bigger issue. What does your list say? Top 5 quarterbacks of all time. That makes the I was too young argument stupid. I know insults is usually a bad way to get an argument going, but this is stupidity at its finest. Had you said top 5 quarterbacks I've ever laid eyes on, that's acceptable. It's wrong, but it's acceptable. Top 5 quarterbacks of the Super Bowl era, perfectly acceptable. If I was going to make a list like that, I would say top 5 quarterbacks since 1980. Why? I was 7 in 1980. These are quarterbacks I've laid eyes on them. I saw almost the entirety of Joe Montana's quarterback career. Saw almost the entirety of Marino. Saw the entirety of Elway. Do I need to go on? But that would make it legible. When a lot of people make these type of lists, they say top 5 quarterback Super Bowl era. That way they don't talk about Otto Graham. But seriously, this makes you a moron when you do this kind of stuff. So I'll tell you what you do, Danny boy. Go grab you a copy of the Super Bowl that Marino went to. It won't take you long because they ain't but one. When you watch the tape of that Super Bowl, every time Marino jogs off to the sideline, don't stop the tape. Don't fast forward it. Watch the other guy coming in from the other sideline. That's your quarterback that we're talking about. That's Joe Montana. That's the guy that throws 15 less passes than Marino and throws for more yards. Okay? That's the guy that doesn't throw an interception the entire game. Yeah, that guy. 15 less passes, throws for more yards, wins the game, going away. Yeah, that guy. And I do love on the graphics. It even shows you. Brady in the Super Bowl. 7-3, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Montana, 4-0, 11 touchdowns, 0 picks. Even says it on the graphics. That right there might tell you maybe I need to at least have him ranked. Because Manning, okay, second Super Bowl wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire. Marino, again, watch the game. Elway, been to a couple Super Bowls. How'd he do in them early ones? I mean, Mahomes is hard to squeeze in here because, again, I do also agree with, as it was said during the, I guess, rant part, that if his knee exploded today, he'd make the Hall of Fame. But again, is the Hall of Fame really your argument to top 5? So I could see it saying top 5 quarterback I've ever seen play. But then again, is he? I mean, there is a shortness of career we do have to look at here. Other than like if you're 7. He says, let me see my notes because we care about notes here. He brings up one stat to prove his point that Joe Cool, the original, the OG Joe Cool, does not belong in the top 5. It's yards passing. Really? By the way, his numbers are off. Either you believe Orlovesky or you believe Pro Football Reference, but his numbers are off. But Montana's not even top 20. And because let me tell you who's second. Okay, Brady's number one. Let me tell you who's second. Somebody who for some reason is not on his list, but he's got more rings than Marino, and he's responsible for just as many rings as Peyton Manning. Some dude named Drew Brees is number 2 on the list for career yardage. I don't know why he's not on the list. You know who's third? Okay. You know who's fourth? Brett Favre. He's not on the list. Anybody here putting Brett Favre in the top 5? Big Ben is 5th. Anybody putting him in your top 5 quarterbacks? He's top 5 in yards. He's got a couple rings. Why isn't he listed? You know who else is in there for career yardage? Phillip Rivers. You know who else is in there? Eli Manning, who's 10th. But guess who's ahead of Eli Manning? The immortal one, Matt Ryan. Do you see where this argument's stupid yet? Again, not to insult an ESPN guy who can't pull videotapes out to, examine Sonny Jurgensen. But do you see where he's stupid yet? Where this is a stupid argument. He should have just said, I forgot Joe Montana and moved on. Because talking heads can make stupid things. I'm a talking head. I can make a stupid comment. I'm sure I have. I'm sure many people can say, well, you said this. That's perfectly fine. But at least I'll have stats. At least I'll have a rationale to come up to it. If nothing else, I'll say the eyeball test. I mean, one of the greatest people that talk out the side of their rear end just because they put out so much content. Bill Simmons, in his book, said that Karl Malone's better than Barkley. Even though in the same book he says, do you want 10 very good years or 3 great years? I'll take the 3 great years because I can win a title with that. Karl Malone is the definition of 15 very good years. And Charles Barkley, what did he do with his great year? Oh yeah, he went to a final with Dan Marley as his top 3 teammate. He dragged Kevin Johnson to the finals. See, yeah, in your own book you're contradicting yourself. But again, at least he had stats. At least he had breakdowns. At least he didn't say, well, I don't know why Phillip Rivers isn't in this conversation. Come on, Dan, let's go. Give me something better than career yardage if you're going to give me stats. Now, the other topic I'm going to have, because I'm going to give you a 2-shot this week because it's our first episode, and I do appreciate you clicking on. I don't listen to a lot of radio. I just don't listen to a lot of radio. It's just not my thing. Because a lot of the DJs, they don't really talk anymore. They more advertise their website, and it's annoying. I listened to a guy the other day talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he breaks down who all's going, who all's nominated, and he's complaining about it. And he starts saying, we broke down the other day 173 people that should be in the Hall of Fame that aren't. And none of these were in my 173. And I thought to myself, guarantee he doesn't give me one name. He says, I got to go to the website. As soon as I thought it, he said it. Wasn't going to tell me any of them. He just got to say these got to go to the website. And that just annoyed the snot out of me because I was like, could you not give me like 4 or 5 names? Then I started thinking, Hall of Fame. Some Hall of Fames are really easy to get into, like, say, the NFLs, like, say, the NBAs. Some of them are a little harder to get into, like, say, Major League. Hockey fans have no clue how hard your Hall of Fame is. But what's the bar to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Allegedly, they have like 1,000 members that vote on it. Yay. But I'm like, rock and roll is so broad. I mean, Dolly Parton? Okay. Fats Domino? Okay. But how do you determine what's wrong? First off, you got to define rock and roll to me. Second off, you got to say, what's my cutoff for Hall of Fame? Is it like Hall of Fame as far as like records sold, as far as tickets sold, as far as merch, as far as contributions? I mean, what makes a Hall of Fame? I mean, could you have some of these people be in the Hall of Fame 8 or 9 times because they were different bands? I mean, some people could go in individually, some people go in with a band, some people go in as a producer. It just doesn't make any sense. But it's like, what is the bar? Anybody have any idea how many people are in the Hall of Fame? 365. Okay. So again, what's my bar? What's my limit? What's the difference between being a sellout act and being a Hall of Fame worthy musician. I just don't understand because how many people have made number one hits over the years since 1955? It's a bunch. But here's the thing: is a number one hit or even a top 10 hit a good value of what's a Hall of Fame career or not? Because let's just say number one singles according to Billboard. Well, if you have more than 10, that puts you in the top 50 all time since 1955. And it also moves you into a tie with people like Phil Collins and Prince. I find that kind of interesting. Pardon me, not 10, 15. I misspoke. There you go, Dan. I made a mistake. But if you've got 15 number one songs, that moves you into a tie with Phil Collins, Prince, Roy Orbison, and a few others for number 50. That's interesting. I don't know really what that means as far as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but yeah, but that seems like a pretty good bar because that means you have to be popular, you have to have longevity, you have to have a pretty wide track because, I mean, you come up with 173 people that aren't in the Hall of Fame, whoever they are, I don't know because I'm not going to your website. But that's kind of a massive list, and there's already 365 already in there. So which means you're saying the Hall of Fame should have at least 500 people in it? Since 1955, I mean, you're looking at, what, 70? Somebody do the math for me? That's quite a few a year. I mean, I thought the Basketball Hall of Fame was easy to get into. But again, you're also looking at producers, songwriters. Maybe is 500 too few for 70 plus years? Maybe. But like I said, your thoughts on Hall of Fames? I wouldn't mind breaking it down for you. Like I said, I do like the way baseball does it. I just kind of hate the whole 15 votes to get a shot. To me, that's kind of ignorant. I mean, how one year only 20% of them say you get in, but a decade later, 80% say you get in? Yes, I'm being facetious, but that's not exactly as far off as you'd think. But that is a wrap up for February 7th. Y'all have a great week, and I will see you on Friday for more football. Maybe there's a game or something this week we can talk about.